Hello friends. Now let us take up the concept number 7, 20.7, object stream IO operations. Already regarding this in the previous concept I have given a briefing. Now I give you the brief explanation about the complexities involved in IO operations on objects. As you know, Java is a true object oriented programming language. Object is the building block of all Java programs. In view of Java, everything is an object. A student is an object, an exception is an object, a stream is an object, a file is an object. So, Java programs can deal with only object by creating interaction among the objects. Ultimately, results are generated. So, here the issue is object is the core, object is the building block. So, object should be transmitted from one file to other file, and it should pass across the network, and it should be stored for other program. In such situation, object persistency, object should be maintained as it is. In transporting, it is not possible. Actually, while you are transmitting an object in the original shape, you cannot transmit. Already I have given an example twice. That is, you can transport a chair as it is. If you are shifting a house, if you want to transport a chair, you can transport it very easily as a single unit. As far as your double cot bed is concerned, it is not possible. What to do every time I need not explain, you know it very well. In the same manner, object should be converted into stream of bytes, and first object should be converted into stream of bytes, and then it should be transmitted to its destination. Thereafter, it should be reconstituted into the original position, a clone of the previous one. Then only the purpose is served. Otherwise, certain anomalies happen. That you know that. Okay, now just for have a look of an object. This is a simple one, and in real time environment, it is much more complicated. Now we see this is a student object. Student object is having number of instance variables. They need not be necessarily primitives. Many times those are objects. Now we see name, a student name. Student age is a primitive. Student roll number is a primitive, but student name is a string object. So, student object contains the reference and string is here on the heap. Next, mark list. Mark list is a reference, it is an array. Array, this is an object, and you take address. The address is the composition of, address is one object, it is composition of several other objects like a name, area name, city name, pin code, etc., and all that. Now we see. In real time environment, it may consist of another object, it may consist of another object, this may consist of another object, like this and all that. I do not want to create complication in the examination, in the example, that is why I have given a simple example. But you should understand practically why object IO operations are complicated. By this you understand that. So, object should be written on a file, and thereafter we have to read it from a file, and if you have to transport, you have to transmit it. For this purpose, what are the challenges? We analyze that. Actually, several instance variables are there. the instance variables value should be protected. Number 2 is always an instance variable. Instance variable means there a tag is there. Suppose if you use, if you talk about name, whose name? If you talk about age, whose name? So, the class tag also should be maintained. Otherwise, there is no meaning. Simply in a Java program, if you say length, what length? That is drawing room's length, bedroom's breadth, and study room's height. Like that, always you maintain a tag, and after reconstitution, the same should be persistence of the object should be 100% maintained. So, these are the issues involved in that. Actually, Java protects us from this facing this complication on our own. For that purpose, it provides a process called serialization. Through serialization, whatever aspects are required, whatever precautions are required to persist an object, all that are taken in this process. Automatically it is taken into the process, but you must be aware of that, what are the complexities in I/O operations on objects, that you must know. That is why I am explaining all these points to you. So, here one more thing you have to understand, do not take it as granted all Java objects are serializable. Actually, those objects, those classes which implements serializable interface. Where is serializable interface? Java I/O serializable interface is there. So, which class wants to perform the object oriented I/O operations, that class or it is a super class must implement serializable, but all Java objects, all Java classes are not serializable. For example, Java is having thread oriented classes, those are useful for concurrent programming or multi-threading program. Those are not serializable. Otherwise, Java developers would have done all classes serializable. So, certain classes are not possible to be serializable. That is why you have to whenever you are going to perform object I/O operations, you must check up whether class is serializable or not. For that purpose, you have to check up the API. Now, just explore that API classes you see, and everywhere you find this is serializable, this is clonable, like that and all that. So, that you have to check and then perform. And I am always talking about API classes. Even user defined classes also, if you want to make it, if you want to perform any I/O object I/O operations, that class, user defined class, must implement serializable interface, and that point you must remember. And one more very important point is, one super class is serializable, that means it implements serializable interface, then it is automatically applicable to all the subclasses of it. And one more thing I am telling you, whenever you are performing object I/O operations on a class, you have to see, you have to check up that whether its super class is serializable or not. That means whether its super class implements serializable interface or not, and whether it is having no argument constructor, and then you have to proceed, otherwise it leads to error. And one more very important point I have to tell you is, compiler does not take up any responsibility in this case. Whether you are performing I/O operations in serializable classes or non-serializable classes, compiler does not bother. Compiler does not report any error. Only thing is, whenever you are doing I/O operations on object, only on non-serializable classes, the interpreter reports an exception, that it throws an exception, not serializable exception. All these points you must remember in a serialization process.